Hello hustlers, good evening, and this is the lecture on orientation of Anthropology Quality Enrichment course for Mains 2023, which is going to begin on 13th June, right? So I know what's going on your mind right now, okay? So I think students are joining. Let's wait for them to join for a minute, okay? This is with respect to Mains 2023 course, and what's going in your mind right now is that we are all engrossed in prelims, and why are you taking the orientation session for anthropology right now? Yeah, I understand that. This is the time for everybody to focus completely on prelims and keep your mains aside. But despite that, recently few of the students approached that they have some concerns with anthropology. Their concerns were that first thing, that few of the students said that, see, they are not able to finish their syllabus completely. Some students' syllabus was incomplete. Second set of students said that their concern is that they have studied everything, but they are not able to recall, so that they are not having confidence with respect to what they have read. So recall is the issue. Third set of students, what was their problem? That they are saying that, sir, I have finished reading everything, I have understood it, but I didn't practice, so I'm not getting confidence with respect to my optional. Okay, so there are other set of students who are veterans. Okay, so the other set of students who are veterans, what's their problem? They are like, sir, I have read everything, I have practiced, I have written many tests, and I'm in the same position that I was in the last year. I have given multiple mains. I have been writing mains year after year, but still I'm standing in the same position. So now I feel like I want to drop my attempt at this point of time and take a gap, work better on anthropology optional, and then go forward to give the exam. So I understand at the point of time of prelims, this lecture is to give you a sense of hope, confidence that for anthropology you don't need to worry about anything. We have come up with a course on quality enrichment. At the same time, it will help you in revising entire syllabus in a short span of time without losing any important topic, right? Without losing the focus also from the side of UPSC. That again, I would like to emphasize on three things: that in this course, there is no nonsense, right? There is no nonsense, and there is no bombardment of information. That in the name of quality enrichment program, we don't want to dump you the information that we have. Rather, we are going to provide it in such a concise manner, and you already aware that Sunya is known for its concise quality material, right? And the third thing is that no moving out of the boundaries. No moving out of the boundaries means that we know UPSC asks question in a limited area. Okay, so anthropology is such a vast subject. You touch anything, you name it, you have it, right? So wherever you go, anthropology is involved, right? So in that case, we have to maintain our limits. How are we going to maintain our limits? It is by seeing through the lines of PYQs, right? So veterans have been falling into the loop that they are studying the same thing year after the year. So how these problems are going to be addressed through these course. So we'll be looking at those things, right? So there are these concerns with respect to anthropology. Okay, so there are those concerns with respect to anthropology, and how is this course going to address those problems? Okay, so let's get into it, right? So what are the objectives of this program? So first thing, it is to score 300 plus marks in anthropology optional. Okay, so first thing is that, so it has been possible in the past and it is possible in the future if you are preparing on the lines, right? If you are preparing on the lines, UPSC is awarding the marks. So what do you mean by preparing in the lines of UPSC? that clarity will develop throughout the lecture. Okay, so once we pass through the lecture, you will develop that clarity how you can gain marks, right? But our main target is to score 300 plus. And next, okay, so if you see, the questions have not remained the same as they were coming in the past years. If you observe the question papers of 2020, 2021, 2022, so if you observe the questions over there, the questions are in evolving nature, that they are testing the applied concepts, right? They are not just asking the concepts, they are also testing the concepts, right? So they are checking on how good you are at applying the concepts. Right, if you want to write better answers which are dealing with the application of the concepts, you need to have better understanding about the current affairs and contemporary events that are happening and the researches that are being published. Only then you will be able to write the better answer. Suppose take a question that has come in the 2022, that so what do you mean by health, and is the diseases, lifestyle diseases are on rise? Okay, so the burden of lifestyle diseases are on rise. So if you have to write answer to this question, okay, so you need to have contemporary awareness. At the same time, you should also have anthropological perspective. So these things, if you want to give the contemporary understanding, you need to study what research is happening right now. Okay, so that thing, so with the focus on application, we will also ensure that you are meeting the demands that are evolving as per UPSC. And next thing is, we are going to provide case studies, okay, and the information from research articles and examples from the contemporary issues. What do I mean by contemporary issues? Don't get confused with examples, contemporary issues and case studies. Case study is something where a particular person has worked. Okay, he gives the proper details, what was the things before and what were the things after a certain impact. Okay, so suppose impact of urbanization, so a particular anthropologist goes to a place, he works there, he tries to understand how the things were before and how the things were after. So this is case study. But example is that you'll just write that there has been changes from little tradition to great tradition in a particular place. So this is an example. Okay, so there is example, there is case study, there is a contemporary issue. And we know that, like I have told you that there are many people who have trapped in this cycle of mains, prelims and mains, right? So for them, the very important thing is that the reason for not scoring better marks is that lack of quality enrichment. So what do you mean by quality enrichment? See, suppose if a question is asked on development of anthropology, okay, so if a question is asked on the development of anthropology, most of the people will be writing those things starting from ethnology, ethnography, fieldwork, participant observation, and then on to psychological, school, impact of psychological school and anthropology. Then coming to the 1960s, you have applied and action anthropology that's given by Soltax and then LP Vidyarthi in India, right? So till here you come and stop over there. So most of the people end up here. But if I tell you that the things that are going in the contemporary times, such as metaverse, artificial intelligence, they are also related to anthropology. Even anthropology as a discipline can help in the latest technologies as well. Okay, so if you are aware about the World Economic Forum article about digital anthropology, they have published an article that how anthropology can help the existing situation, such as how it can help the leaders to overcome the adverse things that would happen in the virtual world. Okay, so now if you see what's happening in the current world, okay, what do anthropologists do? Anthropologists, okay, they study society, they study culture across the communities, right? They study these things. What are the methods they use? They use ethnography method, right? How they'll help in the virtual world. So this is in the real world, right? So right now this is in the real world. So taking the metaverse, okay, in the metaverse, so I hope you are all aware about metaverse. Okay, so this is a virtual world. right? So what do anthropologists do over here, right? So what branch of anthropology that is going to play a role over here? It is digital anthropology. Okay, it is digital anthropology, and the methods employed. Okay, so the methods employed is nethnography. Methods employed is nethnography. So what they are going to do, they'll do the same things that they were doing in the real world, but here they'll be understanding how the people are interacting with the tech community, how the people are interacting online, and how the relations are maintained, how the communities are formed online. So they'll try to understand how the groupings are formed online, be it for any game or be it for any other purpose. See, if you are aware that in the past what has happened, there was a menace or social evils such as race, caste and many other things that are present in the real world, and this myth of race has been busted, or myth of racism has been busted by Franz Boas in the past through his cultural relativistic approach, right? That we are aware. So in the similar manner, the article of World Economic Forum says that anthropologists by understanding how people will interact, okay, so they can experiment themselves in the virtual world and identify any such problems or any such discrimination or ostracization of particular community which would happen. Okay, they can get aware about it and give warning to the leaders who are implementing these technologies. Okay, so leaders can be aware and avoid these adverse situations that would arise because of these discriminations in the virtual world. So this is how anthropology can help in the latest technology also, right? Suppose now if the same question, now let's discuss that development of anthropology. So if you are writing this perspective in it, so do you think that whether you are going to increase your marks or not, then that you can decide, right? So these are the things that this is how you bring life to your answers. Like suppose the question is on language, is language unique to human beings? That for long time we are believing that language is unique to human beings, right? But if you observe, there is a recent research that has been conducted in the Thai National Park. Okay, so recent research conducted in the Thai National Park of Africa. So to be precise, it is Côte d'Ivoire. So it is a place in this country. So research has been conducted on the chimpanzees. So what the researchers or the scientists have observed, that you know that chimpanzees have a sound which is called a signal. They make a sound of a particular type which is called signal. Okay, so we used to think that so they were communicating through the signs, right? Through the sign symbols, like using the symbols or signs, they were communicating. But what these people have found, that these signals have got so many permutations and combinations. By combining variety of signals, they were able to create around 400 words. Okay, so what kind of meaning they are able to convey, and whether they can create more or they can frame sentences using these signals, if we can come to find out, right? If these things are proved in the coming days, okay, so again we will be disproved with our thought that the notion we have that humans are the only creatures who can maintain language, right? So these things you have to write in your answers when you're writing, right, question, so answers to particular question. So when you bring the latest contemporary perspective or anthropological perspective to it, it gives life to the answer. When you give life to the answer, obviously you are going to get better marks. So this is how quality enrichment is going to be done in the quality enrichment course which you are going to begin. Okay, so which is going to start on June 13th. Okay, in that course what we are going to do, I am not going to dump the articles which are 50 pages onto you. Rather, we will make it so precise and concise so that you can directly apply in your answers. So in a way, there are two kinds of enrichment that you can do. So two kinds of enrichment that we can do is that one is very static, right? So certain questions will be very static, and sometimes what happens, no, you can't go further into contemporary things. So there what you can do, you can bring uniqueness by adding new examples and new perspectives from the books, right? So you can bring new examples and new perspective from the books, and when you write new examples and new understanding of various anthropologists in the answer, it brings again uniqueness, because exam is completely relative, right? So it is relative how you are performing better than your counterparts. So if you are performing better than your counterparts, obviously your score is going to be better than your friends, right? So that is what our target through this way of enrichment, both be it from static perspective or be it from the contemporary perspective, we are going to improve our standards, right? So this is about quality enrichment, how we are going to do, right? So next, so other features of this course include that I have told you how we are going to address the problems that various students have raised. Okay, so how are we going to address? First thing, quality enrichment, those who have trapped for the years and years in this prelims and main cycle. So I already told you how the quality enrichment from the research articles, contemporary examples is going to be done. Next, and for those people who believe that their notes is not complete and notes is not ready, so we have a solution through this course that we are going to provide you anthropology paper 1 and paper 2 books and PYQ books. So those who have it, they can you can take the review and feedback from the people who already subscribed to the course in foundation. Okay, you can take the feedback. It is very concise, to the point, and lot of examples, lot of books and views of various anthropologists is already mentioned, and it is like you can take these things to the exam straightforward. Okay, so your notes query is also solved, and what do you say, understanding, okay, understanding and enrichment. Okay, so enrichment query is also solved, and coming to those people who believe that their concepts are not clear or they don't have clarity over the concepts, and at the same time their revision is not done, don't worry, leave it on to us, we are going to take care about it, right? I'm not lying, just trust me that we are going to take care about all the important things that are part of the syllabus. Okay, so here within almost 50 to 60 classes, okay, so sorry, 50 to 60 hours from around 30 to 35 classes, that means within 30-35 days you are almost having 60 days from the mains. Okay, before 60 days from the mains you'll finish your syllabus and you'll finish revision, at the same time you'll also finish your understanding of conceptual clarity. Okay, so those all things throughout the time we'll be doing it. So here conceptual clarity is being developed. See, especially conceptual clarity is lagged in the areas of anthropological thought. This is the area generally students lack understanding, but if you can take the feedback from those students who have already participated in foundation course, okay, if somebody is watching live, you can please share your feedback in the comment section, right? So if you can see there, what I'm trying to say is that, so they have felt it as a cakewalk. So anthropological thought was a cakewalk for them, and it is going to be those who are joining the course as well. And coming to physical anthropology and archaeological anthropology, there are too much of data to cram, okay, so too much of facts to remember. So in these areas what you need is that you need organization of things. And one thing is understanding of the concept as well, but at the same time there is a need for organization of things. So how we are going to organize, just let me show you an example. So this is how we are going to organize things. Suppose taking example of Neanderthal, Homo Neanderthal. So here we are seeing the time period, okay, time period. Then we are seeing the physical features. Within the physical features, you have post-cranial features and cranial features, right? So these are the cranial features and these are the post-cranial features. And then you have cultural features, then you have phylogeny. So it would hardly take 20 minutes for you to go through this mind map. And suppose if you ask anybody belonging to anthropology, how much time will it take you to prepare 1.6? At least they'll say 2 days. So there are around 6 species that we are going to study, and okay, 6 ancestor fossils we are going to study. Okay, so for those 6 fossils you'll be taking around 2 days, okay, for those 6 types. But when you are provided with such a maps, it would hardly take you 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so 2 to 3 hours. So within 2 to 3 hours you can finish the things. So you will develop conceptual clarity, at the same time organization of facts, help you remember well, right? These things are going to be provided in the quality enrichment course, right? So this is how we are going to revise and develop conceptual clarity, add quality, and we enrich our answers over time. Okay, so if you ask anybody with respect to anthropology, there are two things that, not just anthropology, any part of UPSC, there are two things, that is revision and other is practice. Right, there are two things, one is revision and other is practice. So the more number of loops you go through, so you just keep on moving through it and you will get into the final list. So those who go through the more number of loops will get into the final list. Now revision part is taken care. So revision part is taken care, right, through the quality enrichment classes. But coming to the practice, so then that we have the test series component which we are going to see. But before going to the test series component, we will see how we are proceeding in the class, what are we going to do in the class, right? So I have told you what we will do, but how we are going to do in the class, let's see. Right, so pedagogy of the classroom. Right, if you see here, to improve understanding, we will go to the historical context. So if you have to understand any theory, you need to understand the historical context, why particular theory has come up at first place. What is the reason for coming up with theory? Okay, so with this theory, what is the reason? Right. So next, after that, we will also develop conceptual clarity of various concepts. Right. So next, we will learn the interconnection techniques. Okay, so what do you mean by interconnection techniques? Like people always say that there is a need for interlinkage within the optional, be it from different papers, that paper 1 and paper 2, or within the different topics or different branches under a single paper. Suppose you are writing an answer on physical anthropology. There is a need for interlinkage between physical anthropology and sociocultural anthropology. Unless and until you give sociocultural perspective to the answer in physical anthropology, that doesn't make a holistic answer, because you know anthropology deals with holism, right? If you are writing about chromosomal aberrations and if you are not dealing with the sociocultural facts or the features, so if you are not dealing with the sociocultural features, how they are going to be dealt in the society in different areas, so how they are dealt, what are the perspectives of the people towards these kind of people having different chromosomal aberrations. So what is their perspective, what is the understanding? If you are not writing about the sociocultural features, then it doesn't make a complete answer. So we will try to understand how you can connect sociocultural anthropology to physical anthropology and different topics within the sociocultural anthropology also. Suppose there was a question about conspicuous consumption, so it related economic organization and political organization. So in the similar manner, tomorrow they can ask economic organization and its interlinkage with the religion. So we will prepare all these probable things that are going to come in the next time. Okay, so whatever the papers that are going to be written by the students. Okay, so these interconnection between the topics within a single paper and interconnection between different papers. To quote an example, that we will be studying Hindu social system, right? Hindu traditional social system. But whenever you are reading about a social system, first of all, what comes to your mind is that it should be Radcliffe Brown's social system, right? He says that social system is part of, so what does social system consist of? It consists of social structure, ecological adaptation and enculturation process in the society. Right, these all combine together to form a social system. So that is what happens in Indian traditional Hindu system. So we'll try to study it and how the process is helping to maintain the social structure in the coming days. Right, so it is how is the Indian traditional system helping to maintain the social structure of the Indian society. Right, even today, dharma, karma, artha, kama, moksha, all these things form the psychomoral base of Indian society in most of the cases. Right, those with the changing times, many people's perspective and view has changed, but still back of their minds, whenever they are committing any wrong, they always think of that dharma aspect, that whether they are doing it properly or not, that righteousness aspect comes into their mind. So this linkage of paper 1, paper 2 is very much necessary. For that reason, we are going to learn this as well. And next, coming to the mentorship perspective. Okay, so after every class, we are going to be available for a long period of time for you to discuss all your doubts and queries. Okay, so those who are taking online, so it's going to be both online and offline. So those who are taking online, so we are available through the call. Okay, so you can discuss all your queries, because if you see, different people have different problems. We have discussed different sets of people were having different sets of problems. Okay, so solutions will be tailor-made rather than one size fits all, right? We know that. So different people have different kinds of solutions as well. So suggestions varies from student to student. So one important component is that you need personal mentorship, right? So that is also available through this program, right? And so I have already told you how the structuring and sequencing of thoughts will be dealt in the class. And next is that the quality material also will be provided. So this is with respect to the pedagogy of the class, how we are going to do things in the class and what are the features of the course. So we have seen the features of quality enrichment classes, and we'll also see the test series components. So now you can understand one thing: those who are veterans, beginners, somebody who has stuck in between their preparation, everybody can take up this course, and this can act as a solution to your anthropology. So now I can say with confidence that just trust us, you will never regret, right? So you're not going to regret, you'll thank yourself for joining this course. Okay, this is with with confidence I am saying that. So whatever we have done in the foundation batch is going to be repeated, the same amount of efforts. Okay, so we are going to give 100% efforts, and what's remaining is from your end. Just join, just keep following, and within a month or a 45 days we'll complete our anthropology optional, and stay confident to stay better marks, score better marks in the final exam, right? So this is with respect to the course features. And next, coming to the, so this is how examples. So I forgot to say that using the picturesque nature, that means like we are going to follow the picturesque approach, right? So we are going to use various pictures, mind maps, all those things. So if you can see that this belongs to lorsiforms, like primates. Within primates you have lorsiforms, torsiforms. Okay, so lorsiforms, if you see, the most part of the face is occupied by eyes. Okay, so now whenever you are going to write the features of these things, you are never going to forget if you are studying through images. So we are going to use this approach while studying. At the same time, I have also shown you the mind maps that we are going to discuss, right? So I have also given you the example of contemporary things, right? So these are the ways we are going to adopt in practicing the classes, right? So next, coming to the test series component. So what do you have within test series? That you have 8 sectional tests and 4 full length tests. I have already told you there is a loop of revision and practice. Unless and until you do these 2 things, okay, you will not get into that list which we have seen, right? In order to get into the final list, what's more important is that you need to practice as well. Because if you observe, suppose you have done with your preparation and you have never written a test. Okay, so now suppose you go and sit there, different kinds of problems may arise. Okay, a particular person may fail to comprehend the information that he has in his brain, right? Suppose there is a question, you know everything about it, but you are not able to comprehend and write it as per the demand of the question. Second person may have issue of space, and third person may have issue of time. So in order to identify your drawbacks, okay, so what are your drawbacks? In order to identify them, you need to practice. So by practicing sectional tests, you will try to identify what are your weak areas, what are your drawbacks, discuss with your mentor. Okay, so after tests, you have discussions and you have mentorship calls also. You can directly approach your mentor. If you are offline, you can directly meet, and if you are online, you can talk through the call and try to identify the solution to your problems. Okay, so this is tailor-made thing again, and so this is for the identification part. And now after identifying and just working on those things, then you have to simulate yourself to the real exam. And there we are going to have the questions which are tweaked and twisted, which checks the analytical aspects, which is in the, just like the real-time UPSC. Okay, so in those 4 full-length papers, you are going to simulate the questions and environment, and through this, you will be in a better position. You have done with your revision, you have done with your practice, and what stops you from getting into the list? If you have done your GS properly, then nobody can stop you. Okay, so these are the components of the test series. Okay, so I'll just show you an example of how the PYQs will be there. So what you need to do, through the test series, you need to improvise, adapt and overcome. So through this you'll get into the list. Okay, so and on PYQs, this is the approach that we are going to follow. Okay, so if a question is asked, how you are going to follow. So I've already told you, you have to write the definitions, then what are the statistics. Okay, so after writing the various definitions, okay, so you have to give the anthropological perspective of health. Right, this is very important. So what you can remember, right, what you can remember as soon as you see the disease is that epidemiological transition that has been given by Abdul Omran. So he was the person who has talked about it. So now you have to relate that concept which you have read in 9.8 to this concept, and you have to write the answer by interlinking those things. Okay, so this is the way how the answers are been provided. I'll just show you that, like, see definitions, and then we have anthropological understanding. Okay, then example, and then you have what are the lifestyle diseases, again explanation of the answer, diagrams. Okay, so lifestyle diseases, and then statistics and conclusion. So in the conclusion you'll write how to prevent them, right? So this is how you are going to write an answer to a question, right? This is what and how the PYQs will be provided. PYQ answers will be provided to you in the PYQ book. Okay, so why it's very important, you know that anthropology is all about PYQs, but understanding it better and representing it better in the contemporary angle makes you cross the 300 line, or else you are before it. Okay, so for that reason, okay, we are giving you the PYQ book which covers holistically and comprehensively all the PYQ answers to the demand of the question. Okay, so now all your queries with respect to revision, recall, practice, okay, quality enrichment has been addressed in this course. So why are you waiting? Then just please join the course, and if you have liked this video, okay, put the like button. Okay, so press the like button, comment, and then subscribe to Sunya IAS. Okay, that's all with respect to our orientation session. So I hope it has given you a confidence and hope with respect to your mains. Don't worry about your anthropology, that we are going to take care of, and meet you in the quality enrichment course very soon. Thank you. So before that, we'll see the comments that have come up and the queries. Yeah, you are going to have a foundation batch also, right? Okay, so this is with respect to orientation course, and if you have any queries with respect to the details of the anthropology enrichment course, you can reach out to the Sunya grievance team or Sunya care. So there they will help you